Good morning. Welcome to Winged Horse Designs. I'm Donna Goodwin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Brookings, South Dakota. I am here. These are the two cards I'm going to show you this Friday. It is Friday, February 24th. I've used 3 different products from the SALE-a-bration catalog, and these products will be going away on Tuesday. Tuesday, the last day to earn any of these products for free. So if you do not already have a demonstrator in the United States, I would love to be your demonstrator. So I found this fold over at Jackie Bowl Hall. Okay, let's start over. 2 pages called Clomp and Stampers, and she has 9 volumes of fun folds, and this is one of the fun folds. Z fold. We're going to have some buffering going on. It's basically a modified Z fold. You know that the original Z fold, you fold your card in half and then you fold the front back in half again, clear back to the edge. This one we're only folding back a partial way. And then I took and I switched it up to a landscape version. So let's start with this first one. And all the measurements are in the description, so you won't need to write them down. I'm using Balmy Blue. And you start with a piece that you will fold this one in half. And it measures 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So when you score it in half, you have 4 1/4 inches. And then you're going to score another one at 1 1/4 inches to fold back the other way so that you get your modified Z fold. You'll need a piece of basic white or some other neutral that measures 2 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches for the inside of our card. So when you open this up, rather than tack this down, we've left it open, and when you open it up, then you can see the pretty paper and the inside. We'll need 4 pieces of designer series paper. The stamp set here is our little owl, is the adorable owls. This is my favorite owl with the bow tie, so I can color it to match anything that I'm working with. And the designer series paper is from the Day at the Farm designer series paper. I have 2 sheets that measure 2 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and 2 sheets that measure 1 inch by 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. I have already, you can decorate the front any way you like. I have found a stitched oval in my little stash of bits and pieces, but any size that you could use for whatever you want to decorate would work nicely. So I just pulled out, this is a retired die set, but the stylus shapes would work really nicely. And I've already colored my little owl with smoky slate, gray granite, balmy blue, daffodil delight, pumpkin pie, and a little bit of crumb cake to give him something, to give my little owl something to set on so that my owl's not suspended in midair. I did mount this on the Stamparatus to make it so that I'd be sure that I would get it straight. And I'm using 1 ink color for my sentiments, and that is Poppy Parade. It's kind of an orangey red. And you don't need a little block to rub it with. That just helps if you have sore hands or arthritis in your hands, and all it is an old wood block with a piece of felt on it. And I'd like my sentiment to be, so the camera's having a tough time today keeping up, but I'd like it to be a little darker, so I'm going to ink it up again. And this is what I love about the Stamparatus, is it will come right back into the exact same spot. And that's much better. And that's all we're going to do on the inside, is put a sentiment in, because there's not a lot of room to write on this piece. And then I want to stamp Look at You. And I'm going to stamp that in Poppy Parade as well. So you could use this card for just about anything. So on the outside, we have look at you on our little owl, and then on the inside, there's no one quite like you. That's all the stamping. So now it's just a matter of gluing everything together. This is such a fun, easy fold and a fast fold to do. So I'm going to start with my 1-inch strips. And I'm going to put it on the front of this fold. And then I'm going to put the other one on the inside of my card. And so there we have those stripes. And if you would like to follow me for other different designs that I do, I post typically Mondays and Fridays. You can find those over at my website. Let's see if there we go. There's my website. You can find those over at my website. I've got lots of different designs over there. So I'm going to put one piece. If I fold this back over and put one piece here on the front. Now we can see our different pieces of paper. And then I'm going to put the other piece on the left side, on the back of it. I'm going to put this one on in. And depending on where you're watching me from, if you're here in the United States, up here in the northern half, you may or may not already be dug out from the massive storm that came through. I'm partially cleaned out. I'm not going to worry about covering it up with another. I'm going to mount my on this pier. And there you have the first one already. Just open it up this way. And if you're concerned about that part that comes through, you can see very little of it is coming through. If you look at it this way, very little of it is coming through that way. But if that does bother you, you could cut 2 pieces of whatever you're using and put a clear piece, put another piece behind it, and that would cover up anything if you've used alcohol markers to color your piece. So there's card number 1. I didn't show you the actual stamp sets. The stamp sets that I'm using are Adorable Owls. It's in the SALE-a-bration catalog. You can earn it for free with a $50 order before taxes and shipping. And then I used all my sentiments from Thanks a Bunch. And then the designer series paper is Day at the Farm. So this next card, we're going to use all Thanks a Bunch because I just like the pattern piece from Day at the Farm with all the vegetables on it. So I thought we would do that. So I switched this one to a landscape. So this time I'm using 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And I've scored it at 1.5 inches and 5.5 inches. So 5.5 inches will give us our fold in half. And 1.5 inches this time to fold back. You could fold it back as far or as little as you want. It just depends on how you want to decorate the smaller panel. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Stamparatus again. And I've mounted this sentiment as well. This time I'm going to use Cajun Craze. It's not typically a color you might think of for carrots, but we have the darker carrots in here. I forget the variety of carrots. I'm not the best gardener in the world, but I thought I would go with the color of carrots that's in the pattern paper. So we're using Cajun Craze. And again, it's lighter than I would like, so I'm going to ink it up again. And that's much better, so I'll go with that. Now I'm bringing in a small piece of scratch paper because I'm going to do some stamping on. I'm going to take these smaller bunch of carrots and I'm going to ink them up in Cajun Craze, and I'm going to stamp off once and stamp down in this little corner. I just want it to be a light piece. Now this is photopolymer, so you would normally want to bring in some type of a foam mat. Our Stampin' Pierce mat works really well if you don't have something like that, an old magazine, anything like that. My dust mat has enough cushion to make photopolymer stamps work just nicely. And I'm going to set this aside and come back and put my greenery on it later. So, and then I have a piece that measures 1 1/4 inches by 4 inches. That's for this panel here. Actually, no, let's go ahead and do our greenery right now. So I'm going to do the little bitty greenery here, and I'm going to stamp off with that as well. And there we have our inside. Now I'll set that aside. For this piece, I'm going to use the taller green leaves. And I'm going to stamp this full strength. I'm using Pear Pizzazz here. And I'm going to stamp it off just slightly to the left. And then I'm going to come in with a smaller carrot and with the Cajun Craze. I'm going to stamp off once. And I'm going to stamp this one over here on the edge. And then I'm going to stamp some greenery on top of this one. Full strength in the Pear Pizzazz. And then I'm not going to stamp the big carrot here because I'm going to stamp the big carrot on a piece of scrap paper and cut it out. So I'm going to stamp the base of my carrot and stamp off once. So if you're ever over at my web page and you say second generation, that just means stamping off once and then stamping again without re-inking to get that second generation. And I'm okay with this little bit here that's not full because it gives some variation. And I'm going to come back in with the detail part of that carrot. And I'm going to stamp it full strength. And then we have a little bit more of a carrot. And I believe that's the end of the Cajun craze. So I'm going to put the Cajun craze away. And I'm going to bring in another piece of scrap and bring in It Looks Like Spring. And now I'll go ahead and close up these ink pads so that I and I'm going to put some dimensionals on this one. So I'll pull a full one there, and then I'll take another one and cut it in half. I'm going to come back to my front panel and I'm going to add this bigger carrot. So that our bigger carrot just pops up a bit. Now for this piece, I brought in the rectangle postage stamp punch. So I'm going to bring it in and punch it out. And when you have where you can't get in quite far enough there, a Post-it note makes a nice little handle. Oh, we need more. Here we go. And it just gives you a little extra room there. So I'm going to bring that. I'm actually going to center it, but bring it down a little bit close to this one edge because I'm going to put it back in. I'm going to tighten it up a bit. So I like the way it's centered this way. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add my little handle here and I'm going to bring it right back in. And I'm going to slide it up to where now it's going to cut this side. And because it's got these like little notches on either side of it, I need to do it this way so I can get the side edges matched up almost perfectly. Punch again. Take off my little handle, and you can see that I've sized my rectangle postage stamp down to fit in tighter to my sentiment. So let's just go ahead and put all this together. I'm going to start by putting my inside piece in. So this time, instead of cutting a smaller piece off and then putting another strip on it, I chose to do some stamping instead and just use a full size. I'm going to go ahead and put my vegetables on this side. This piece measures 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches. Again, don't forget, I'll put the measurements in the description, and you can also find them over on my website. I'm going to open it up, put up some more vegetables on the front. Fold this back and add in our front panel that we stamped rather than using pretty paper. So you can always create your own pretty paper, or you can do a stamped image. I'm going to turn this a bit to make it easier for me to see what I'm doing here. And then rather than use dimensionals here, I'm going to put one dimensional on it so that, and put that dimensional over on this side. So I'm just going to flip it this way and put my dimensional over here. Add in my sentiment, and there you have this one. So you have a landscape version, and you have a portrait version that you can stamp and decorate any way that you like. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I found these over on Jackie Bolhuis's site. I know I'm mispronouncing her last name. Stampin' Stampers. I will put a link to that in the description. There's also a link to it in my blog post that matches this, that will be up about the same time that this one comes up. So I hope you enjoyed these. I will be live on Monday at 10 a.m. Same place. Hope you enjoyed my videos. And if you do, please like, comment, and share so that Facebook, YouTube, everyone else, myself, know that you enjoy these. And it kind of gives me encouragement to keep doing them. So have a wonderful week, everyone. And I will see you live Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time.